तुम तो कुछ मेहनत नहीं कर रहे हो, तुम्हारे चेहरे पे डार्क सर्कल्स ही नहीं आए अभी तक. Narayan Murthy upfront said, I forced my wife, I told her, if you join Infosys, I'm gonna step down. She accessed my phone and I'm like, बहन तू contacts list ले लेती यार, कुछ भी मेरे text check कर लेती, मेरा period Hello guys, welcome to another podcast. We are two millennial women who love Guppa. I'm Arushi. I am a content creator, an anchor, a writer, an editor, podcaster. Lots of things, depends on the day. And I have a lot of things to say. I'm Siddhika. I'm a content strategist, a digital community builder, a founder. And now I'm a podcaster with this pretty lady called GirlGuppa. And today we guys are going to talk about something that everyone knows to bitch about. Toxic workplaces and toxic work cultures. Oh my god, yes. We have too much abundance of it. Yeah. And today we will do a therapy session. Yes. So grab your coffee and chai cup and let's get into today's go. Whoa. So today we're talking about things and people and places that have harassed us a lot. That is our toxic workplaces. We have both been in them, we have known people who've been in them, and over the years we have a lot of experiences of these really messed up, fucked up situations that we don't even know. We question why we were in the first place. So for me, it's more like I have been in some toxic work situation myself. I have had less of an organizational structure because when I started working after the first few years, I was in a company where we were like initially we all were like founders and there was toxic clients. But I have like so many, because clients are our bosses, okay? Yeah. You're a career creative, the clients are your bosses. And the clients think that they have bought you. They think they own you. Yeah. It's like you think your boss has bought you think your client has bought you, and you think the client's dog has also bought you at this point. Yeah. Okay, then I want to know that story. Oh, yeah. So I have been in, after college, I've been in like many workplaces. But then one in particular stood out because I had a boss who used to think she has owned me. बेसिकली उसको लगता था कि भाई मैं उसकी सब कुछ उसकी नैनी, उसकी उसकी थेरेपिस्ट, सब कुछ, मतलब हर पंचिंग बैग, एवरीथिंग. Yeah, so it wasn't like your 8 hours were paid for, your 24 hours were paid for her, for you. Yeah, like so much mental load of mine, I remember, used to go into. And how you know you are in a toxic situation is that it makes you a really shitty person. Right? It makes you a very... And I remember having a lot of fights with Krishanwa. I remember being a really repulsive human being in general at that time, because when you're in that situation, that's just how your kind of body absorbs it, right? You're giving me an overall... Sorry. I want the meat, I want the kalesh, I want the drama. It was like, give me the drama. Okay, I'll dive straight into the deep end. What? So, yeah, and this very famously toxic boss who I'm guessing all my friends know about because of the amount of therapy I have had to, only freelance therapy jo paise nahi hote the actual therapy ke liye. So this is a social media. Yeah, I have ranted to her poor dog so much. So, basically, this boss of mine, will not mention company or whatever. But, so she was toxic to everyone. Okay, in general, but particularly to me, because I feel, and I'm not trying to be self-important or whatever, because I feel she was threatened a little bit, because by me in particular. Okay, yeah. So I just want to confirm, is it because some girls are threatened by the fact that you can overtake them, or some girls are just threatened by you're a beautiful girl, by you? But I'm very serious. No, but mostly I think it was professionally mostly. I'll give a few instances, okay, where she pick on me weirdly. So majorly in the team, we were women, and we were talking about writing more about menstruation period and all. And while we were doing our research, I came across something called free bleeding, which is an entire movement, of women who don't want to wear any kind of menstrual hygiene products. And I am extremely, if anything, I have a lot of icks. Okay, I can't even eat with my hands because I have too much ick. Yeah, and you know how obsessive I am about cleaning stuff, right? Generally, yeah.
this movement, apart from the hygiene part of it, the concept that they have is that in the olden times, it was women were put into these corners to bleed freely, but they were kind of like shunned from society, and they're taking it away. Oh,
bring back Middle Ages. It's like,
bring back your brain cells.
I swear. I'm like, so now, like, why we have this is not just to control, to hide. It's also like to go about your day without any hindrance, without like constant washing and all. It's a very practical thing more than anything.
I want to see the safety.
Yeah, I'm dancing and I mean उतना वो तो थोड़ा ज़्यादा है देखो मैं इतना मतलब ऐसे हेड स्टैंड नहीं करने लग जाऊंगी एक सैनिटरी नैपकिन पहन के. But basically, it's practical, right? So we were talking about free bleeding and the movement as such. And she said that I want a story, and this is I want a story on this with personal experience. And she literally opened my period calendar on my phone and checked when my next period is going to happen and said that I want you to do research. You will do free bleeding for your 4 days of period and write your experience and make that an article.
Brother, I mean, देखो, I understand you're desperate to have viral content, but having said that, at least have people choose. Like, okay, तुम पांचों में से कौन तबाह होना चाहते हो बताओ.
Like, just because I've written like stories about menstruation and period, and she's like, it has to come from you, and you have to do it, and you have to come to work also. ये नहीं कि घर में बैठ के करो. No. By the way, you have to come to work also, and मतलब that was not the toxic, but the toxic part was that was the toxic part. No, that was of course.
But I think the part like opening my phone and checking my period count, that was like. That was very fucking fuck. And उससे पहले ना my phone never used to be on lock. Okay, उस time this is like the long time back. Okay, this is a conversation of a person who was in a committed, healthy relationship. Not someone who's otherwise everyone has a passcode and every app, and there were apps downloaded to have another passcode, so certain apps could not be opened after the phone was open. Yes, that. Anyway, so I didn't have a lock in my phone for a long time. In fact, I think after this I learned to put a lock in my phone. And then, like, because I literally
must have gone to pee or something, dude, and she accessed my phone. And I'm like, बहन तू contacts list ले लेती यार, कुछ भी मेरे text check कर लेती, मेरा period calendar. Like, wow, okay, this was. Then she would do the classic she was garden variety toxic boss, okay, credit लेना, मतलब undercut करना, taunt मारना, ये तो होता ही था. This was like normal. When she had a good day, we all used to be like, "Aj kya ho gaya? Why did she get late? What happened?" Like, we used to say this about certain teachers. Yeah, I know. Hi, Kushan. Today economics ma'am had a good action. That's why she is very happy. GDP बढ़ा हुआ है. हाँ, biology पूरी हो गई. Yeah, GNH actually. Gross national happiness. Because of GNOs. Gross national. Rose. Yeah. Yes. I want my t-shirt of that. Okay, and then now this is sadder part. This is not even into funny territory. So after my Masi died, I'd taken grievance leave and I'd taken a few extra days and I had an understanding with the with another boss, senior boss. Okay. So uski chal gayi thodi ki I had an equation with them. ठीक है. So when I came back, literally 2 days into this, one day she was okay with me, she was fine. Third day she goes like, and this is I think not this is a few months before appraisal season. ये भी नहीं कि ये trending था, ठीक है. Comes out of nowhere, says, तुम्हारा ना इस साल appraisal नहीं हो सकता क्योंकि तुम बहुत लंबी छुट्टी पे गई थी. Oh my god. Yeah, and she knew, I'm pretty sure, why you applied for the dream. Yeah, of course. Of course. And like I had put the like all my friends had come for the funeral, not her. I'm like for some reason. I mean, I'm not expecting it, but it was on the group. Everything was there, like everything was transparent. And she was like, basically this, and
I was just at that point of time, I was anyway not in the right mental state, and I was just like, whatever, whatever the fuck, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're processing other things when you don't have
Exactly.
the mental capacity.
Yeah.
To process.
A few weeks after this, I left my job.
And I was like, and I told her, and you know, it थोड़ा Uno reverse kind of मारा मैंने उसको कि देखो मेरा अप्रेजल तो हो ही नहीं रहा इस साल, आप ही ने बोला, तो मैं why should I stick around? like after that grievance period थोड़ी सी अक्कल आ जाती है ना, उसके बाद सब देखो आपने ही तो बोला था, yeah, you won't get an appraisal, I'm leaving now, yeah. And her face fell because now I am in a position of higher power because it's like उसी की बात निकाल के मैंने उस पे मारा.
Yeah.
So then she's like, because in my notice period, she understood that, oh shit, I can't throw this back at her. I can't do anything.
Yeah.
So she started picking on like little things, okay? And I knew this would happen. So I was extra cautious, like of everything. And I used to be very, very particular about all my work during that time. And this one time when I was on leave, obviously when you're on leave, you don't do your work. That's the point of a leave.
Yeah.
Okay. I come back to work and she's literally sitting me down and scolding me. कि इस वाले दिन पे तुम्हारा काम क्यों नहीं हुआ?
I'm like, yeah, I had to know. There was a handover that was given.
Yeah.
Exit note was there. You ask your internal issues, no, with someone else in the team.
मतलब literally, ऐसे situation में कोई comeback भी क्या दे? I was just like, what?
How did she math? What was your mental gymnastic? I need to know your route.
मतलब मुझे अंदर से honestly, because I was so immune to her ना, at this point मुझे अंदर से हंसी आ रही थी कि बहन क्या हो गया, पागल हो गई क्या? मतलब literally.
Okay, and not just this. A week later, she just wants to yell at me, launch at me for no reason. She called me to the common area. Okay, I won't say which, but common area जहाँ पे thoroughfare होता है आना जाना सबका, and yelling at me there about the same thing. Strike 2. Yeah, about कि तुमने उस दिन पे तुम्हारा काम नहीं हुआ. I'm like, बहन तू once. Then that's when I lost my shit. And I was like, 1 second. That day, and I showed her, I'm like, listen, I literally took leave that day. What does that mean? That means I am off. I will not come to my computer system to do anything. Whose responsibility is it in my absence? Yours. So it was not my work, but your work that was not done. And bas, wo pagal ho gayi. And then she's like, tomorrow is your last day. And you were like, yes. I'm like, yes, thank you. Yes, I'm like, yahi to chahiye tha. And she did that. And she's fighting with the HR saying, इसका क्या बोलते हैं, full and final मत दो. She's like, पागल है क्या? We'll get sued, you idiot. Oh my God. This was the most fuckboy version of a breakup story I've heard. So yeah, people have toxic exes. I have toxic ex-bosses. So yeah, also I'm not too left behind, okay? मेरे पास भी है toxic stories. ऐसा नहीं है. I see your toxic ex, I raise you a toxic boss. Yeah, it's okay. We shall have some counter going on the side at some point. Work it out to each other's toxic stories. Anyway. No, I am not in that run race only. I have like 2 people. Your turn. Okay, so this friend of mine, because you're talking about toxic bosses, so she was working in one department which was very toxic. And there were like several people in it. She wanted to shift from that department to another department, and that department was an international department. She always liked वो लोग काम कैसा करते थे. So now what happened was that she eventually, a year and a half later, got shifted, and the people and her boss in the team was very, very salty about it. Now, what? Of course, they did a lot of other petty things like subject A. You've already given her petty things that would similar petty things were done constantly. So now, when she actually was in the other team, so then she was invited to Chennai, where the head office was. Ki, you know what? We guys are having a very big shoot over here, and it's a big production, and this and that. And we want you to come and see it. And she's like, I'm not a part of your team. I don't need to be there. It's for the internal investors, and so I am not required. The boss was like, nahin, you come. So she had to pay for her own flights, pay for her own room. She went over there. She had no work over there, by the way. And all the boss wanted to do was show that he and his main team got a whole 1 hour segment on camera in front of the investors and she did not. Ha ha ha. He literally made that woman book flights, book hotels, stay for 5 days. So that he can just be like, ha ha ha, you're in the video and you're not. Oh my God. ये तो बिल्कुल वो वाला है ना कि इंस्टाग्राम पे पुट स्टोरीज विद हॉट वुमेन जस्ट टू शो सी आई एम नॉट लाइक मैं मर नहीं रहा हूँ तेरे बिना टाइप ये पता नहीं है लाइक वो कोलर नहीं काटी दिया ये तो हाँ मैंने सर्फ नहीं खाया no the funniest part was which was like divine karma in this situation. So normally if you guys are Google Meets and even if you're posting a team meet or something like that, you can have a production fee that is going and you can record that and show it to the investors or you can record and circulate that video. The fuckery that happened with them was instead of enlarging their camera feed, alright, in that whole, where all the small tiles are up and then the main feed has to be there, the presentation note was the only thing that was enlarged for the whole hour. Their little faces with the 5-cam setup was in the corner, ittu chotu sa. And no one could see it. All they could see is the one introduction slide that had to be a presentation note slide. And the whole company laughed at them because they spent quite a bit for it. That's instant karma. Instant karma. Love it. Love it. And the funniest part was before the boss found out about this happening, because then his superior mentioned it, he said to my friend in front of everyone that, see, you left our team, you could have been over here, aren't you like regretting it? And the senior was like, are you out of your mind? You're talking to your junior like that. And this is like a 60-year-old man. He's got like kids and all. Because when I heard this for the first time from him, मुझे लगा कि 20-22 साल के बच्चे हैं जो ये पूरा कर रहे हैं. यार मेरे को भी वही लगा. I thought these were like these petty kids, like, oh my God, no, bosses, I mean like VP level bosses, okay, they're VP, not VP. And like, oh my God, the channel setup has been lost. What footage? No footage. I can't. But वैसे I've heard enough stories of, by the way, old bosses also being like, I think mainly वो यही toxic होते हैं, इसी से तो trickle down होता है, यहीं से तो सीख के आते बच्चे. So Krishanu had a boss who used to say stuff like कि तुम तो कुछ मेहनत नहीं कर रहे हो, तुम्हारे चेहरे पे डार्क सर्कल्स ही नहीं आए अभी तक. So stuff like सोना रुकना ऐसे सुबह ना ऐसा ब्लैक पेंट फिर पैंडा बना के उसको भेजियो.
And this guy had like मतलब a host of ailments, okay, and he used to say things like कि देखो मेरा काम, like he used to say it proudly, like देखो देखो मेरा काम कर करके मेरा किडनी खराब हुआ है, मैंने इतना काम किया है. He's like he used to say stuff like you should be ashamed that your health is perfect, your health is on 100%.
Oh my God, this is like the Infosys story at this point.
Oh, of course, Mr. Murthy, Mr. Murthy, who says like 70-hour work week karo.
Yeah, that is very important.
Yeah, of course.
Had he actually said like, apart from your work, you should have like overall a 70-hour work week where you're doing something to, maybe grow your assets, do something to learn, upskill, that would have been different. This man, no, he said exactly office. Exactly. And now because this one thing has been said, I'll just summarize the video. तो पूरी देखियो. He asked his wife, and by the way, she's as educated. She was the one that actually gave the idea because of which Infosys became Infosys. He forced her to not work. He asked her, if you are going to work in Infosys, then I am leaving. So I'll show you an
I didn't know this. No.
I'll show you an interview which is like, it's 5.5 minute video. Where 4 minutes and he didn't even let his wife speak. So I'll link the video below. You guys can watch the whole thing. No.
You had a partner who is equally ambitious, who had her own aspirations. In fact, I want to understand from you the day when you told Mr. Murthy that you should be part of Infosys as well, because you were part of the story from the very start. You provided the seed capital. You, in fact, provided the very differentiating idea that Infosys should focus on the export market as opposed to the domestic market. And when you finally thought that this was an opportunity for you to be part of the company, he said no. And that wasn't an easy one for you to accept.
No, but one more important thing, she was as qualified, in most ways,
exactly.
more qualified than all the 6 or 7 of us. That is also very important. Not that she was not qualified.
Exactly.
So therefore, that's very important. Yeah.
So why did you say no then?
No, again, I had this feeling that good corporate governance means not bringing family into it, because those days it was only family rule. All kinds of children used to come and run the company. There used to be a violation of all laws. But later on, Shirin, I must tell you this. A few years ago, I had a long discussion with a couple of professors of philosophy from two extremely well-known universities in the world. And they said I was wrong. You know, they said, Mr. Murthy, you are wrong, because as long as the other party has the merit, whether it is your wife, your son, your daughter, as long as that person has the merit, as long as they go through the normal procedure, you have no right to prevent that person from being part of the thing, because you are then taking away some of your right. That's why, I don't know if you remember, when we had the discussion, I openly said I was wrong. Now I don't believe this. I think what I was doing those days was wrong. I was wrongly idealistic. And in some way, I think I was influenced a lot by the environment of those days.
I can't.
And the worst part is, in that same interview, Sudha Murthy says that I knew he was a very stubborn man, and I knew that if he said something, then he is going to follow through with it, whether he's right or wrong. And over here, one life of mine is only going to be ruined. But if I would have taken the job, then, you know, my husband, the two children, 3 lives would have been ruined. So one mine is fine. And he literally, in a way, bullied her in the word that if you're going to be here, I want, oh my God.
When you were showing me that interview, it made me feel like, you know, how when we watch Jada and Will Smith wala interview, you know, how we're like internally cringing. It's just like, my feelings were the same.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what is this uncle saying? Yeah, पागल आदमी है. So, अगर ऐसा बॉस होगा तो टॉक्सिसिटी बनेगा तुम्हारा वर्क प्लेस ऑब्वियसली यार. मतलब it trickles from like high up. Yeah,
Starts at home. Charity starts at home.
of course, or lack that off. Literally, मतलब. But then it's a poor economic decision also. ना सोचो अगर तुम अपनी wife को जो qualified है सब कुछ है, you would have put her in the company. You also would have saved so much money. You would have fucking invested on that money. This is so enraging.
It gets worse. Over here, if you watch the end of the interview, basically the interviewer asks that would you let Rishi Sunak's wife Akshita, the younger child, basically. So she mentioned, would you let the younger child join Infosys? And then instead of saying, I will let her join or not, he was like, no, she will not. She knows she will not. She's very fine with her decision, this and that. She will not. I mean, I feel like the way the entire situation in that, it just sounded so toxic and controlling and, dare I say, slightly problematically patriarchal, allegedly. Wow. Yeah.
Oh my God. मतलब ठीक है, she's doing well for herself as first lady, ex-first lady.
Yeah.
But dude, what the hell? Like at least one thing that millennials and Gen Zs unite on is our dislike for Narayan Murthy, and rightly so. मतलब वो आदमी एकदम ही पागल है यार. What the hell? That's not
Problematic, man. Very problematic.
no, this is, and after I heard the 70R thing, I was like, chalo, yeah, he's already set in his ways, ye wo, you know, because he said very sexist things in the past. But when he said the 70R thing, I'm like, acha. So he's an all-rounder. It's too like senile. He's like पूरा ही. मतलब ये नहीं कि एक उसमें problematic है, एक lane में नहीं, हर lane में.
I tell you what, sometimes it's like an all or nothing behavior, no? At the end of the day. So one of my friend's boss, who was very problematic, same thing. He all or nothing. He was problematic when it came to bullying him. He would comment shit about his writing. Now this friend of mine is on his way to being a published author. But imagine somebody every single day, and when you are skilled and you're talented, and you know the narcissistic mentality of making sure that you break the person's ego and their feelings and their sense of self, and you know, so much that they feel like they're worthless, like entirely worthless. He had to start therapy. He was there for 5 years. He never even asked for an appraisal during those 5 years because he broke him down so bad. He would cry. He would have actual anxiety attacks because of it.
My God.
It was very bad. So yeah, like, and then when he joined next job, he was like, oh my god, people are not being mean, they're not being over.
Oh yeah, PTSD.
Yeah, like he was.
You know, that's what happened to Krishanu when he joined his new job, and he's like, "है? ये boss normal है? ये क्या हो गया? हाँ, ये ऐसे भी होता है?
सफेद क्यों नहीं हो रहे ज्यादा?
ऐसा क्या? ऐसा भी होता है?" It's like मैंने छुट्टी मांगी और उसने दे दी, and he's like, "है? ये भी होता है?
What is this?
पूछा भी नहीं कि क्यों चाहिए?" And he was just like dazed, like really, मतलब इतना गंदा PTSD था उसको कि he's like, यार उसने छुट्टी तो पूछा भी नहीं मेरे से कि किस तरह क्यों लेना है, कितना लेना है. नहीं, इसने बोला हाँ. And he was like, मैं तो पूरा तैयार करके आया था स्क्रिप्ट
ऐसे मॉम से नाइट आउट प्रेजेंटेशन मांगने के लिए या मैंने प्रेजेंटेशन होगी.
he's like, मैं तो रिहर्सल करके गया था कि मैं ये पूछूंगा. फिर से पूछा नहीं यार, वेस्ट हो गया मेरा पूरा. But yeah, no, and you know, I'm actually like, at least now because of that poor girl, you know, that EY and Murthy, at least now we're talking about it, and I'm so glad, because these companies, they think, matlab, I'm like, sorry for my French, but they think you are slaves.
Yeah.
Essentially, है ना? तुम मतलब this is modern day slavery only. It's like, हाँ मैंने तुमको 2 कौड़ी दे के खरीद लिया.
Yeah.
Essentially, you are
I will purchase your bot. So another friend story that I have, कि agency life में ना कभी-कभी जीना बहुत हराम होता है. So what happened with her was, now I understand कि ठीक है यार, if you have a campaign or it's like very high pressure time, ठीक है, तो I understand कि workload ज़्यादा है. But कभी ना कभी तो कम होगा. And let's say even if you're supposed time for a leave and you're the only person, if you're in a small organization, you can do your job. ठीक, you finish your work, you might put in the extra hours and then you go for the leave because the capacity is not there. But they exploited her for, you know, the 7 days a week, 10 hours a day, continuously, even after the campaign got over for several months. And then she ended up having a fight with them. Like, what the fuck are you doing, this and that? मेरा तो ये घंटे का रेट था, 5 दिन की नौकरी करनी थी, इतने घंटे थे, what the fuck are you doing? And then kudos to her, because sometimes when she acts like a bitch, she can actually slap the right person at the right time. Sometimes she cannot, but it's okay. 100% success rate मुश्किल है. नहीं, it's okay. Win some, you learn some. हाँ, exactly. So that was a good thing, because otherwise, if you don't step up for yourself, you, like my previous friend who was there in the organization 5 years without appraisal, will reach that point of exploitation. Of course. Yeah. So I'm saying, like, when you're like young, okay, you think that, like, you know, your first, second job, you think they've done you a favor. Yeah.
By giving you a job, you're just like grateful the whole time. Matlab, I can actually have a drinking game on the amount of times I've said sorry for no reason, no fault of mine. Oh sorry, this, oh sorry that. And then, you know, when you grow up, you're like, oh my god, मैं इतनी छोटिया क्यों थी? Why was I taking that shit?
Yeah.
Like, I was also a grown-ass adult, but then what the fuck was wrong with me? Yeah. So at least, you know, now I feel like, at least when I was in a powerful enough position, like when I was the boss, I was like, listen, I'm going to break that cycle.
Yeah.
I'm not going to. So I had this thing that, देखो तुम छुट्टी लेनी है, तुम लो, जब तक तुम्हारे उसमें आ रहा है, कोटे में आ रहा है, जो लेना लो यार, तुम्हारा जो human right, I can't stop you from, you know, I can't stop you from having a fever. Like, you know, it's not right. Like, so I had the equation with my team where my team, like one of my teammates would call me and say, listen, Stranger Things का नया season आया है, please. Okay, ये Stranger Things. Yeah, I know. I'm like my teammate would call me and say, Stranger Things का नया season आया है. Can I please take an off? मुझे binge watch करना. And I'm like, yeah, wow, legit, do it. That is so cool. Do it. Yes, and then don't give me spoilers. As long as you don't give me spoilers, I give you chutti. Take. Okay, so it was like that. Nice. And yes, same cheese I was telling you, कि chutti, my like you know, the Krishanu thing. So same cheese. One of my this girl in my team, okay, she came and asked me for a chutti. And I said, oh, yeah. And before she could, you know, she also had that script ready.
Yeah.
And she asked me, chutti चाहिए? आने ले. And she's like, actually, na, mere dad बीमार है, ये वो. I was like, bro, ले. Okay. And she also had that expression कि है, like, मेरा selection हो गया है.
मेरी सिलेक्शन हो गई है. हाँ?
हाँ, आपने दे दी छुट्टी, क्यों दिया?
I am Calcutta पहुंच गई आज.
Like, what? क्या? she was just like, ये कैसे हो गया? And I was like, bro, it's your छुट्टी, take it. मेरी, well, it's not my, मतलब मेरी, it's not like I'm telling, like, you know, मतलब crumble कर जाएगा, तुमने ऐसे, तुम पिलर हो कि तुमने सब वो सीलिंग सपोर्ट किया हुआ है कि तुम एक दिन नहीं आओगे सब गिर जाएगा, नहीं है भाई. People, it's okay, people, other people can do your work, and if you're really important, you do handovers, it's okay. That's not the end of the world, man. That's what I think. That's what workplaces should realize. It's not the end of the world. If you know something happens, and that's why like bosses get so toxic because उनको लगता है कि मतलब because they take things personally. Yeah, right. They think कि तुमने कुछ.
I think it also feels like इसको छुट्टी मिली.
I know. अरे लो भाई थोड़ी देर में अभी नहीं. 5 more minutes, guys. Toxic bosses are ones who take things personally. Yeah. At the end of the day, ना कि नहीं वो asked me for chutti, how dare you? It's like, you know, you are asking something, you are asking for an organ from my body. It feels like that.
Actually, it's also more so, again, if you have a toxic company, more so it's like they have created that culture where the boss, even if maybe the person might not be toxic in the next organization, also some people are dumbasses.
Yeah.
But some people are, what shall I say, primed to be like, okay, you'll get a promotion if there are less percentage of holidays taken or less approvals happen. The system is created. I know it's very easy to also dunk on your boss, but the boss is also in that position because he will only get or she will only get an appraisal once they do all of this toxic shit with you. They're the highest ranking in their entire department, and then amongst all those departments, one person will be promoted who is the most toxic.
Of course. Yeah, because they are like mimicking your behavior. They're learning from the best.
Systematic.
Yeah. एक तो ये है, one more thing, you know, which I noticed, especially in these corporates, is this whole boys club.
Oh yeah.
And this whole thing of, you know, staying late at work means you're an efficient worker. I'm like, that's the exact opposite. अगर तुम लेट रह रहे हो, you are not good at your job. अगर तुम लेट तक रह रहे हो ऑफिस में, like that's so basic, right? And ऊपर से it was always because men can afford to stay longer, right? But even if you're married, everything, तुम्हारा घर तो तुम्हारी बीवी चला रही है. And if you're not, then you're anyway खुला सांड. You can afford to stay longer in the office. So ये automatic boys club बन जाता था.
Also say about safety, na?
Exactly, that too, of course. Yeah, main point.
Guys, on the topic of travel and safety, we have a podcast where we discussed our travel and safety.
Yes. Horror. And I'm saying horror, Kaleshi, you can trust it. Yeah, it's very disturbing stuff. But yeah, so this boys club would stay till late and would pretend as if देखो सब काम तो हमने किया है.
Yeah.
But what they were doing? Making a circle, opening beers, drinking छत पे office के. So I'm like, bro, literally, and I witnessed this once because again तुम छोटे हो तो चूते होते हो, right? When you're new. And then I realized later, I'm like, 1 second, तुम काम तो कर नहीं रहे हो. तुम तो ऐसी बैठे मतलब वेले बैठे हो, तुम रात के 12 बजे तक बैठे हो. This is literally the opposite of being an efficient office worker.
So there is a study that actually shows, and I think some countries have also adopted it, that people who go for smoke break on an average work an hour to 2 hours less during the whole day.
Oh yeah.
So some countries have actually given non-smokers, some companies or some countries have given non-smokers an hour additional break.
Yeah. Or they give you 1 extra day off or something.
Yeah.
You can get one, yeah.
And also on another note, like, had you maybe or other people voices in certain companies, right? There's this one very beautiful video. The guy basically said in the video, ki, you know, sometimes when some women say something, no, like let's say the idea of the pitch was yours. But if a guy says it in the team, so the color of the message changes.
If it's a woman speaking, unfortunately, it's just the color of the message is just different. Yeah. And she was presenting her business. The guy, the managing director of one of India's blue chip funds, started rotating in his chair. Like he started swiveling around, interrupted her. Then she said, I want to build a 1,000 crore brand. For a brand that's 20 crores, that's a lofty aim to grow 50x, right? He said, unless the brand is 5,000 crores, it's not worth my time.
Exactly. Yeah, it's taken more seriously, and I have experienced this personally.
Same.
Yeah. That the way you say it, and then the same exact thing said in a baritone, it's like, oh, suddenly everybody's like, you know, paying attention to it. So
when I had done that, you know, startup thing where we were selling this protein drink, right? So during that time, this happened a lot of times. Like my partner, because again the partner was a he, they literally, I mean, I knew the formulation. I never even gave him the formulations, or I kept them with me. When people would ask what's in this, what's the percentage stuff, things that I could only answer, he would hear it and then he had to repeat it because he didn't even know what it was. Because I would only be able to answer those questions, but I kept it very safe. And they literally, it was like, cellophane vibes, man. Like they just, on my face, they ignored my words till he parroted them. Like parroted means parroted, because again, I kept everything to myself. So that was the only power I had. Had I maybe not kept that level of authority with me, so I wouldn't have even been required.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So counter to this, there are very, like now I'm seeing a trend of, people who are empathetic, who don't believe that, oh, you have to be dicks to be successful, which is like, no, it's a theory which is debunked. Please don't follow it ever. But, there are, like, I've seen examples of people saying, oh, this was her idea, or stuff like, oh, she'll take the lead, things like that. It's so basic, but it's so important.
Yeah.
Like, I have an example of one really, really good boss who used to be this person, who would give me credit, like, oh, this was entirely her idea, or, oh, she's, new, but she's so good at this, or she did this. This was one boss where I was leaving one of my jobs. And I had left, I wanted a sabbatical because my mom was very, very ill. She was paralyzed waist down. She had an autoimmune condition. And I had discussed this with my boss that, dekho, ye hua hai. And I really need to go, this is not this thing. So she, in order to help me out, because she knew, like, this is, and you don't make that shit up. Right.
You have to be like the definition of a psychopath.
Yeah, to do that.
Like, shellac.
Yeah.
Saying, what do you want to know?
Yeah, exactly. So basically, so I told her this, that, I need to leave and all. So to help me out, to like not, I'm like, I can't serve notice. I obviously can't. Now, I'm needed somewhere. I can't be here. So what she did was, she said, okay, I'll do this to help you. And this was a genius idea. She said, we will treat this as a bola resignation that you gave me.
Yeah.
Write in the email that as per our discussion on this date, it was 3 months prior, that we had this discussion and this is your resignation and all, and I will consider your last 3 months as notice. And this is, and I was just like, oh my God, this is like the nicest thing somebody has done for me in a professional setup. And plus, all the baggage PTSD, I'm like, hey, bosses are nice. Like, what?
Just like my friend, like, oh my God, I might be criticized for my alphabet.
Yeah, basically.
Like, for alphabet, I didn't get a criticism.
She's like, what? Like, it felt so nice. Like, I never left with a bitter taste after what she did for me, because that was so huge. That was such a nice thing she did. And I'm like, yeah, theek hai. At least if I had 5 toxic bosses, I had like this one really good example, whose example I take.
Yeah.
When dealing with people in my team or people I work with. Right? That, theek hai.
Like,
Please don't. Please treat people like humans.
Yeah.
Literally.
fair.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is a well-rounded ending on a wholesome level of discussion that we have on
Started from the bottom.
now we here.
Yeah. So what did you learn today?
I learned the shades of people, and if the place is toxic, every shade of that place will be toxic.
Yeah. Also, I think there should be like, there should be some signs, like people should, like we learned very late in life. But I think shuru mein na, they like start judging the red flags, like in relationship, in your probation period,
Actually, but on another note, like I do that because when I hire someone on probation, right, this is one thing that I do because I am not a person who likes to micromanage or organize or something. So what I do is like, I can't be like, kaam kari this and that. So I'm just like, theek hai, you have the probation period, I'll see your colors.
Yeah.
The period is for that. Even for you, if you're in a place, you're seeing red flags. If you see the person's colors, you see the organization, how they're treating you, how they're treating other people also, just leave during that time you have.
Exactly.
So it's meant for that.
And stand up for people in your team. Don't be a douche yourself. Like, literally. Like, when you're in the position, of course, I understand if you're new, can't do it. But recognize the patterns. And maybe if you have it in you, then call it out. If you have it in you, it's not easy, honestly. Easier said than done. But yeah, call it. Yeah.
But you know what's easier done than said?
Yes.
Subscribing to our
To our channel. So if you like this video, please like, please share it with your friends who are in similar situations or who are, bosses, would-be bosses, whatever.
Yeah.
Please be better yourself. Inspire people to be better.
And till next week, continue the GirlGuppa. साथ में कभी तो phone. And till next week, continue. क्या बोला था मैंने? This is what happens. It comes out once. That's what he said. होगा. But next.
I'm a toxic colleague. Also subscribe to all our other platforms. It's there in the description. Link.
This is toxic.